Badge Bros are back. Badge Bros are back, and we're coming off a bittersweet weekend. I'm not going to lie. Bittersweet weekend because we nailed the plays. We were all over that Minnesota. I got Minnesota on the mind already. We were all over that Baltimore-Miami game, and it just didn't get home. We were sitting with that pretty $50K prize right beside our name for hours and hours and hours. And then Tyreek just decided to ball out, kill our Waddle leverage. And we're left here with a process was better than the results kind of day. So let's bring in the boys. Good to have them back. Numi's fired up for a little Minnesota action tonight. I know that. Nez is back from the concrete jungle, having a time in New York there. What's going on, lads?
Welcome back, everybody. That was an absolute monstrous slate yesterday. Yeah. Results weren't what we wanted, but wow, are the second half of these games just kicking ass. Holy crap. Back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. Yo, Numi, you're on mute, man. What's good?
If you want to hear me smacking that applesauce quick while I was in that intro, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Got to get that nourishment, baby.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. I will say I had, because it was just on my local channel, so it was just a game that I didn't have on ticket, so like I wasn't flipping through red zone or anything. I had that Bucks and Saints game, and man, from start to finish was that maybe just the most defensive game, most boring game I have ever seen. Like, you can't really take anything out of it because it was so defensive. Maybe that the Bucks offense is just a step down from what we think they are, but we won't get into that. But like that call that you said out there, that I kind of was like, and then I started to get a little more Fournette, and then all my Kamara swapped. So that game ended up being for something that I was even a little high on with you guys. To the just, I mean, what are we doing? It was like 3-3 through the. Wasn't it 3-3 in the fourth, or is it near the end of the third? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Tough.
Well, it's interesting because this is where we can talk about the process of the weekend. Is we highlighted that game that we liked that was kind of chalky, but not as chalky as the Arizona and Vegas game was. And we pinpointed that, we love the skinny stack with Lamar and Andrews, and we loved the Waddle bring back, and we talked about it, and Karain reinforced it on Friday. He came on here and he's like, best game environment, boom, nailed it again. And then talked us off the ledge a little bit on Friday, how he was saying that Tampa Bay game could fall flat on its face. And that's exactly what it did. I mean, we still wanted a bit of Lenny. We still wanted a bit of Evans. But for my value, like, I was too overexposed, and I only had 28% of Lenny. But he was my highest owned player because looking back on it, it seems so obvious. But looking back on it now, it was like, that matchup wasn't what we wanted it to be. He had the hammy. All those wide receivers were out. And then we could have just gone and taken Chubb with those picks because he was available in the exact same range early in the week. Chubb pushed up to like the third round as the week went on, but we could have had Chubb as a 7-point home favorite versus a bad Jets run defense where like he was supposed to feast, right? And we were heavy on the Lenny and Kamara value instead of being either mixing exposures with the Chubb or whatever, because I only got to like, I don't know, it's not in front of me, but I want to say I only got to like 8% Chubb. And that was just kind of bad process on the underdog side for me.
Go ahead.
Oh, well,
please.
So, I mean, for when you're looking at it, if you're thinking process-wise, Lenny got 24 carries. Lenny got 2 targets. Chubb got 7 less carries than Lenny. So it's just about what he did with it. And we get that maybe, the Saints D, but we just watched this Saints D get rolled on the run the week before. So it's fair. Like the process was right. He had everything. I mean, he even had more of the like opportunities than Chubb did. He just didn't do anything. I mean, the only other rushing attempts were Rashad Wright with 2, Tom Brady with -2, so he's taking knees, and then Scotty Miller. Like, so in hindsight, that's great. I mean, we're getting a guy who's getting that workload in a still top tier offense, maybe not top in like the top now in the league. But I mean, yeah, I think it was me. That's how I enjoyed attacking that game, because I felt if that game was high scoring, it was probably maybe Brady got there, but I saw Fournette getting there with a touchdown. And then for sure, I mean, 24 attempts, 64 yards or 65 yards. Like, he just wasn't efficient. And I mean, he got everything we could ask for. So I think the play in hindsight isn't going back saying, oh, we need more Chubb, because honestly, like, it's always hard to go Chubb when you have Kareem Hunt right there that can literally bolt those. And he needs to run. He needs to do exactly what he did yesterday, which is run pure on TDs and not go down with 140 or something left and then let the Jets come back and win. That, you know what I mean? So so many different things can happen. He goes down, doesn't score that touchdown. I mean, I know he's 24 points, but I like the process for Fournette.
Okay, now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this winning lineup here, because one of my favorite possible builds was Cup 101 and then Lamar Andrews skinny when it fell to me. And I think I had 8 of them and just didn't have Chubb with it. I had Waddle, but just didn't have Chubb with it. So it's nice to see it get home, even though it wasn't us, because it was like, it's a little validating, I guess. But what do we think about this build in general? What are we seeing here, dude? I don't like to go so hard into the winning lineup and take too much away, but what are you seeing here, Nez?
So I really I was really excited about this Detroit Commanders game. I had said that was one of the games that I thought had a really nice environment. And to see Amon-Ra just continue to do his thing, just be an absolute alpha is awesome. And all pass usage leading at closing at the end of last season, all usage that we see for these first 2 small sample sizes just show that he's just going to continue to be a grown ass man. And he, I felt like he got steam in my draft rooms. Like, eventually for me, I felt like I drafted a lot toward late on Saturday. And I felt that the wide receiver pool started to get really dry, or maybe I was taking a lot of similar guys. And Amon-Ra to me was the name that stuck out, and I was taking him. I believe he either went last or second to last year, and for this dude or whoever, and he eventually got steam. So I would really like to know when this team was drafted, but last week as well there was I forget which running backs brought it home. I think it was Saquon and Swift, and they oddly, depending on the rooms you got in, were very last picks as well. So it's kind of interesting, you see what running backs that have these massive ceilings kind of go underutilized in these drafts, and you can really take advantage of it. And Chubb does have, as we can see, slate breaking stuff. And there was other wide receivers that had okay days and got home, but just today with or this slate with these wide receivers that just absolutely mashed with Hill and Kupp and Amon-Ra. And I mean, there's some that weren't even on this winning lineup that got you home too. You just had to have the nuts. The nuts. But I'm gonna chalk a dub up for the Badge Bros for calling the Miami Baltimore game, for calling the Washington Detroit game. I particularly was bullish on Bucks and Saints, but eventually I did reel that back a little bit. I then pivoted to only Lenny, but for a while I was endorsing the Bucks offense as a whole, and then kind of backtracked whenever I was seeing the total and looking at the pass production with the Saints and just everything. I eventually backtracked that, but I'll take my L there.
No, I mean, if I were to venture a guess, you said when this was drafted, I'd venture to guess this was drafted slightly early in the week, where he went Kupp and then the Andrews and Lamar fell. He took them both there. And then he went Amon-Ra, Chubb, and then Waddle was free as the run back.
If this lineup structure is telling us when they were drafted, he might have went immediately for the bring back and was just what, at least that's kind of how I look at it sometimes, is where I'm just I know I got a guy, and I know there's going to be just a hodgepodge of guys that late. Because Amon-Ra was falling for a little bit. I think people eventually kind of came around to him. But regardless, those two guys were available pretty late early.
Which is wild for obviously the quality of talent and the game environment and the fact that he's had 10 plus targets in 8 straight games. And that's just for free in the 4th round. I had him as a swap on my team that was in first for 2 hours there.
Yep.
Amon-Ra was the swap.
Right.
Because he was my highest ranked guy. Yeah. Because that was originally it was
Pittman, right?
a Pittman team. Because I had the bring back with Kirk, and that's how I got weird with having Kirk and Amon-Ra on the same team.
Nice.
Yeah. I told you I was hunting Kirk for that bring back, and then I just started getting Kirk solo, man. I had a lot of Kirk, so I was happy.
He feels so safe in these drafts moving forward. Is like a very last pick. His usage looks fantastic.
Yeah, and if they can block again, I don't know how much pressures they were getting, all that, but Trevor Lawrence barely got touched. So regardless of good blocking, no pass rush, if they can get that recipe going again, he can sling that rock. I love Trevor Lawrence. I'm very high on him. So yeah, I love Kirk. I think he's a great play moving forward.
Numi, anything you want to talk about, hit on from yesterday, your teams, your process, your results, anything like that? Or do you want to just move right into Monday night?
No, I had the same stuff that you guys did. I had when you were doing that, I was looking up my because I had it written down. I had 11 Cup Andrews.
Ooh,
no Chubb.
Wow.
Sorry. Cup Andrews Lamar. Sorry, the stat. With no Chubb. I think the highest running back that I had was I think it was Darryl. And Darryl, the swaps, I shouldn't have done that. Either one of my swaps wouldn't have worked because I had Kamara. So like I was telling you boys in our Discord, like I'm gonna get swapped just something of everyone basically because he's not being taken. And it was all Darrell Henderson, and it was the way I ranked him. I should have switched it. Like I keep thinking, I should have done Chubb. He was nowhere even on my list to swap, so it wasn't even a thing that I would have done. But
the swap for me in that spot in the late game environment was Jeff Wilson Jr. And I played the shit out of him on DraftKings. Shipped a couple of single entries on DraftKings.
Congrats! Those are some fat wins. The draft. A couple thousand on DraftKings is like $1 million on Underdog. Like it's just no offense.
So true.
True. That is like so much. I commend you for that.
Man, you did smart though. You go listener leagues, no rake, you got it. So
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was kind of lazy because I went to that UW game. I went to the UW Michigan State on the Saturday, so I didn't draft it all on Saturday, and I didn't build. That's normally when I build like a bunch of my DFS stuff, or at least shell stuff, and then just Sunday morning, kind of hung over after the ball game, trying to cram in. I was just drafting all the bombs and like 30 more entries to this. And I was like, oh shit, how many did I sign up for? And I just had like 4 single entries that I had signed up for. And I was just like, okay, this lineup. And like, that was like the lineup that I had built previously. Wow. And I just put it in all 4 and it was just like, okay. But the point being, like, if I had done my normal process and had that lineup, I could have had a real nice week, but whatever.
If you want to pull up Silas's last comment, I will say that I will say later on in the week for sure, but before ADP updated, he was not being taken at all.
Yeah. Early in the week.
And that was that was a quarter of the draft, maybe 4,
he was even
undrafted
30.
Yeah, he was
times.
Undrafted a lot in all of mine. He could have been for my
guys
early
got a
teams,
lot
he would have been
harder.
a swap.
They got a lot harder as the week went on. I was really surprised to see that.
That speaks to a microcosm of all these BR contests, right? Whether the draft window is 24 hours, whether it's 7 days, whether it's the entire calendar season, the number one time which you can leverage ADP is early in the week, early in the clock, early in the calendar year. Yep. It introduces the most volatility and most variance, and we're looking to embrace that. So if you can isolate on Tuesday, what the best game environment is or what the point of leverage is, like your drafts on Tuesday are always going to look better than your drafts on Sunday morning, right? Unless we get like some crazy late break news or we get some whatever. But just in a vacuum, like these contests, you're going to have crazy outlier builds that are capable early that aren't capable late. Whether they get home or not is a different whatever. They don't always get home, right? They happen to get home this week, right?
Yeah.
I do think Sunday morning, I put off 25 drafts for Sunday morning, and they were very soft, softer than even the word soft could be. Like, that's how I got the JT CMC. Like, that's how I continually was getting Chase Adams.
That's like the classic phone shitter bro Sunday morning crowd, right?
I mean, they were going they were going right off of rankings and had no regard of ADP. So they came right off of making some lineups or doing whatever. And Carson Wentz was going in the first 2 rounds over and over in my Sunday morning drafts. Like, who went number 1 overall? A different running back, not JT or CMC, not Saquon, went number 1 overall. It's like, just started having like people coming in like, yeah, we know what we're doing. And they were very like Amon-Ra was going in the late 5th and 6th in the entire Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is one thing that is interesting. So, I mean, that's kind of like the, you're balancing it basically, or the barbell approach. You do your whatever there. And then honestly, it's like maybe that Friday, Saturday time, honestly, I felt it get a little sharper, like Nez said. Like, it was just like you were battling in these streets, and then all of a sudden it got very soft again. So
let's pivot to Monday night then, because there are some fun games here. And admittedly, even though we were the ones who kind of, suggested this format or whatever, they would have built it this way anyways. But just to the point that this format is way more fun than the traditional ones with the quarterback, because it's like the MLB slates that we were playing during the summer there, where, short 4 or 5 gamer, where you can box guys out of pitching, you can box people out of certain forms of correlation. It brings in a whole new dynamic than just uploading ranks and trying to pinpoint which unique player in a showdown slate, which backup tight end is going to score, a touchdown or whatever. And we can still get weird with these, but I love this contest. I think this is my favorite football contest we've had, period, including BBM, this is my favorite.
Yeah. This has been a ton of fun to draft. And I can't help but think, as I'm like making my very last pick, I see a couple very weird names, and I'm just like, I know one of you guys is going to burn me. Like, this is probably like the James Cook breakout week, or like Zach Moss gets like another 6 catches and like 2 of them are for scores. I just know that there's going to be some wacky outcome here that's going to completely just like break the slate. But regardless, the thing that makes this really fun, I think, is like, no matter where you're at in the starting position, your first 2 rounds can just be very fun and interesting. I'm getting I'm getting a ton of late picks right now. So getting like the Diggs Jefferson, or getting Jefferson Brown, Diggs Brown, like I love like there's just so much you can do here to kind of, like you said, really bully the room and get yourself a unique combo. A lot of fun. I'm excited for tonight.
Yeah. Numi, who's your favorite play on the slate? Who's your 101?
Adam Thielen, baby.
What? No, really?
Love it. 101. No, favorite play on the slate, Adam Thielen.
Like it. Okay. Favorite play on the slate, Adam Thielen.
But
favorite 101.
101.
We know.
I don't know if you guys know him. He's just a wide out by the name of Stephon Diggs. No, I'm just kidding. It's Justin Jefferson.
Love it.
For sure. I will say, I just a quick piggyback. I love Nez's point. Almost all of my 20 drafts have been bully. I call it like the alpha wideout. I'm just taking those, the Diggs, Brown, and Jefferson. And I was talking with Silas, and I was 1 pick away. Thought he was going to maybe go something else from getting all 3 on the team, and I was just about to just call it and be like, I don't care what happens. I know this won't hit, but it was fun while it lasted.
That would be the sexiest lineup of all time.
Anyway, it was Jefferson, Diggs, and somehow I took Diggs. He had Allen. He didn't want to take. I don't think he wanted to take AJ Brown for some reason, and then he just did with like the 3rd round pick, and I was like, I love the alpha wideout. So I gravitated towards that strategy to start too, and then I was just thinking about the ceiling of these rushing quarterbacks on teams where they're rushing like
talent around them isn't the best on the slate, and also is a muddied backfield, right? Because both of these rushing quarterbacks, I mean, if Allen gets 2 through the air, 3 through the air, and 1 on the ground, it's over. Like, you needed Allen.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So, and that for me personally seems like the most likely path to optimal on the slate is Josh Allen. I don't know. Whereas like pinpointing pass catchers, because like this whole slate has so many auxiliary weapons and so much depth that I'm just kind of like, let me consolidate around Allen and then get lucky with the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Is he your 101?
I think so right now. Like, I have him projected for like 4.5 more UD points than anybody else on the slate. So, but that's not exclusive, because I will still mix some Jefferson at 101 to then get a different type of build and see what happens. But I think Allen and Hurts are just such outliers. Like, Cousins can get home, obviously, but it's most likely going to have to be a double. And it's pretty hard to build that, in my opinion, unless you start Jefferson from the 103 and then the 104 pick goes like running back, or Diggs running back instead of taking the third quarterback. So I think that's probably my favorite build, but that's probably not the easiest build. Like, my favorite build is probably from the 103, the 2 quarterbacks go, you get Jefferson, the 2 running backs go at the corner, and then I get Diggs or Brown, and then get Kirk on the way back. But you can't guarantee that. And I think the floor of these 2 premium quarterbacks is so much higher than anyone else on the slate that I think I want to consolidate around that from the 101 and the 102 as of right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, I don't know. I've only done 12 of these drafts so far. I think I maybe gotten a few. Like, I have for sure. I have 1 Allen and 1 Hurts team. And I just got those teams recently. And I don't know if my first few drafts, I'm pretty sure those were all late drafts, but it's good to know now. I kind of like that I've had my random number game go this way, because now I know if I ever get those first 2 picks, like, if I want to have like a flatter exposure, I gotta reach, and it's because Allen and Hurts like are like the clearly defined 101, 102, whereas before I might have gotten cute, but if I'm going to continue to draft in volume, just to say, it's nice to know that like this is like the market cost, and unless you're taking a stand, which I would not recommend, and if you're drafting in mass, to take like big stands, especially in a 4-person lobby, that like this is like the price you have to pay. So I would like to get more of those guys just to try to get a little bit more unique. Speaking on this slate, how are you guys approaching tight end? I feel like that is a kind of gross, but low key. Like, I really like Irv Smith this week, even though he put up a goose egg last week. Like, I'm really excited. Last year, like anytime the Vikings played, I just automatically hit their over. Like, I'm just like, hit the Vikings over. Like, they're low key exciting. Like, the knew me at cash like more than any other bet that I had like at any point last year. It was just automatic, and I'm going to play it next week too. Whenever they play the Lions, I'm gonna hit that over too. So I'm hoping that Irv Smith can get home. But Goddard to me is a clear alpha tight end on this slate, but I don't know that he's like worth like reaching for. So how are you playing? Are you just kind of like whatever happens because it's tight end, or do you feel like there's a defined for both?
My highest exposed tight end through 20 drafts at 75%. It's Austin Hooper.
Nice.
He's free. I don't see any of the tight ends separating at all. I'm just getting a free Austin Hooper in the 6th, and I've been calling it good.
Yeah.
When it's not Austin Hooper, it's been all Irv Smith. It's literally those 2. It's been all of those 2. It's just, I don't think any of these tight ends are worth a 5th round pick. Like, with all of the weapons on this, like, I know this is for me when it's like, when there's no Andrews, there's no Kelsey, there's no Waller, there's no, wait, Kyle Pitts isn't good. I'm just kidding. There's no Kyle Pitts. Like, there's no, I know Goddard. Like, SDSU Jackrabbit. I went and watched him a couple times. Got to support everyone down there. Like, he's good. He's great. There's now AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, a running quarterback, 2 weapons out of the backfield. So like he's got to get home with the tight end. So it's basically you're betting you need that touchdown for the tight end, and I'm just hoping that it's the tight end that no one wants to play on the team that no one really wants to play, and that's the Titans. So
yeah. Interesting.
That's how I've been playing it.
Well, I like that too. If you're building for a run back too, like if you're building the way you're building right now, Numi, and you're isolating those elite pass catchers, well, that means you're ending up with a lot of Tannehill, and that Tannehill is now going to be paired with Hooper, right? So that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. And I will say I'm playing the room, so like I do have, if I go to quarterback, my highest exposed is Josh Allen. So like really? I have all of the Josh Allen, but it's like I think he's tied with Tannehill. So like I've been going like that. I've been taking the low approach on Jalen Hurts because I really think our defense is going to contain him. Homer pick, I know, stupid. Don't listen to anything I'm saying, but that's the way I've been approaching it. And then also how I've been thinking is if one of these ancillary running backs, not Cook or Henry. So I'm just looking at Sanders, Singletary, Moss, Gainwell. I'm talking an Alexander Madison who I really think it's going to be through Dalvin Cook, so it could be. But those four right there that I just named, the Sanders, Singletary, Moss, because like they're so close together, basically, I guess Sanders is a higher projection than Gainwell. People aren't really like – they're like, I'll have them there. But like I've been running some 1 RB lineups with just one of those and basically saying it's going to be passing. Yeah. The quarterbacks aren't also maybe going to get there. It's just going to be through the air when I do that. But then also when my other lineups, like I have taken, I have no Derrick Henry. So we'll have to work that in through 20, but I have no Derrick Henry and a couple Dalvin Cooks. Otherwise I love all the running backs I just named: Singletary, Moss, Sanders, and Gainwell on my only exposed.
In the way that you're building like that's kind of the point I was getting to when I said the elite quarterback, right? So when you take those elite quarterbacks where they're the rushing targets in those, if you flip the build and you're taking elite wide receivers, it makes a lot of sense to then target those like muddied backfields to try and get exposure. Because like, I mean, Gainwell played basically all of the 2-minute drill and all of the like late pass catching snaps for that team, but their usage last year was like way more muddied than it was this year to start. Like I actually think Sanders is low key trying to be that alpha for them. Like week 1, 50% of snaps, 43% of routes on those snaps, 13 carries. Like it's going to be an ugly backfield, but I do think Sanders has like a slight edge to the point where I am uncomfortable not mixing him in. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. I have plenty of the mix between him and Gainwell. It's just at their price too. I won like nearly 10 picks higher because most people are going off of ADP. They're going off whoever's the top of their thing. So it's just I'll take Sanders when he falls, and then otherwise I'll just scoop up Gainwell. Is how I've been going. So
okay, let's talk about a couple random targets that I wanted to bring up. The Gabe Davis. I have a lot of Gabe Davis, primarily because I only started drafting this contest recently, like basically yesterday and today. And I'm just eating that variance when he falls to the 5th or 6th round, because guess what? I can just swap him for Jamison Crowder, or I can swap him for, what's the other guy's name? Khalil
Shakir.
Shakir, but Mackenzie's getting drafted everywhere now. But you can swap him for Shakir. You could do this. So I'm just kind of like, if Davis plays and he was used in the role he was last week, like he played 93% of snaps or something like that, whereas Diggs only played 64. Like they're trying to make him this like alpha X presence. And if I can get that in the 5th round, I'm going to break a slate, right? Now, is it likely that he plays? I don't think so. Do I think it's greater than 40%, 35%? Probably. So I'm going to take a chance on that with the late swap eligibility and just eat some variance in an elite player like Gabe Davis. Do you guys like that approach, or do you think it's a little extreme, unnecessary?
No, I love it. I love a late round Gabe Davis. And right now with his cost, it just makes so much sense. Like the swaps that you're going to get there. Like I'm probably not going to swap Kumaro, but that's interesting. I'm going to look into that now that Silas said that. But you can swap him and get like Jamison Crowder, who I really like coming into this year. I drafted quite a bit of him. And as almost like not necessarily a 1-to-1 replacement, but he's immediately going to step in and got a little bit of work, not a ton of work last week. And, I think that instantly gives him a boost. And like you said, like the way that they're using Gabe Davis, what we've seen from Gabe Davis, like he makes a lot of sense just taking a risk on, even if right now it's not looking good. He's so cheap. It just, to me, that risk makes like perfect sense in this contest. What were you going to say, Numi?
Well, I know Eric in the Spike Week chat, he put in his 2 cents, which I thought was a good point, which was basically Gabe was a 100 snap player outside, and Isaiah, Mackenzie, and Crowder are not going to play that role whatsoever. Right. They're going to play in the slot, so that's where Kumaro and Shakir come in, because they're going to, if Davis is out, those 2 guys are not playing that position whatsoever. So that there'll be more snaps for them specifically in that position, which would then garner them more snaps overall. Like they're not going to be all vying for that basically snap count. One's going to get that position. So once I saw that, I kind of looked that up, and it made more sense that it's going to be one of those 2, but it's how much more and how, you know what I mean? Or do they just then get that usage? You know what I mean? They'll be out there, but then do they demand the targets and all that Gabe does? That's the question, obviously. So, but
yeah, I fully agree with that.
In this tournament, those could be the players, you know what I mean? That it's going to be obviously it's going to be the person that scores 2 touchdowns. You're going to need them, and you're just going to go, I only had them in 3 lineups or something like that. So it's really going to be whoever, it's how many combos you can get with that basically nut lineup. And then something what I was also talking with Silas is I've seen a lot of builds for a mega game stack, which I wasn't really in favor for.
Onslaught, you mean?
So because how I learned basically Showdown last year, when they had the showdowns for 2 games, a lot of the people were telling you, and how people will tell you to build, is basically still build for 1 game. Basically isolate that 1 game that you think is going to be it, and then you don't get that other one, and you hope that's low scoring. Versus in this contest, how large it is, and then with the way that it's a battle royale and you're drafting, it's much more different that you're still going to need that 1 or 2 piece from that other game that gives you those. You're just going to need the combination basically. So I've seen so many, I'm not even if I screenshot it where it's Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and then Burks, and then Dawson Knox. And I'm okay, don't know how that's going to get you to that first, but I've been seeing in every one of my drafts, 2 people doing just onslaughts. Just onslaughts. And I'm
well, I've mixed in a couple too.
I don't hate that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely a viable strategy. It's just, is it optimal? No. Is it a lower frequency percentage to be optimal? Yes. Do I still want it mixed in? Yes. So that's all I would say on it. If I'm building 150, you bet your ass I'm having game onslaughts like that. But
and if I'm going to do it,
that's the cop-out answer to everything. We can just say, if we're going to build a large portfolio, we can do anything. But I'm just
talking I do about if you're every day.
I know. So, so then we can just build any lineup and anything and just call it good, and that's technically
absolutely
fair. So,
absolutely.
But I just don't think that that's even remotely something you should consider.
Fair enough.
It's building in a.
Here's what I would say to that. As am I sharp? Who's to say? I think that this Bills Tennessee game is I see this being a slog. I think Bills defense is very good, and they could be a little bit more of a run funnel than I'm giving them credit for. So I'm full fading Derrick Henry, and I'm feeling fantastic about it. I don't give a shit. I'm fully fading him, and I think that they're just going to mash. But without Gabe Davis, what if he doesn't play? What do the Bills do? And this is just my fish take is okay, well then this game could be low scoring. Tennessee wins 20-0, and then I'm seeing what I'm envisioning. Just hear me out here. And then
you mean the Bills win 20-0?
Yeah. Sorry if I didn't say that.
I know you're good. I was Tennessee.
Yeah. So Bills. So I think that game goes under, and I think Bills win. And I think that the field is thinking like this, like generally. And then Minnesota and Philadelphia. I think you just saw Justin Jefferson go nuts. You just saw AJ Brown go nuts. Everybody is looking at this game and thinking and at least me. And this is my my field take is people are expecting this game to be awesome. shootout, fantastic. Like let's like get the AJ Brown, and then now let's get like your sharp Minnesota take, Numi. You're saying like, hey, this Minnesota defense, like look out, like this defense like could, they could, kind of put the clamps on this Eagles offense, and when you put the clamps on Jalen Hurts, he looks awful. So there's a chance that this game isn't the exciting, sexy environment that we think, and then that onslaught for gets home. Just a different way to like think about it. Like we're looking at 4 games here, and like if one environment goes shit, then one environment has the opportunity for an onslaught to get home. So that's like my defense for doing an onslaught there.
Yeah, I mean, like we can justify the script of any of these games and tell ourselves a narrative in any direction about these games that makes sense. We don't know which one's going to occur, but there's reasons to justify building in these certain ways for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, and is it optimal? Probably not. Can it get home? Of course, right?
Yeah, I guess long story short is with this, you're telling yourself a story about 2 games.
Right, exactly.
Like this game doesn't get home. This game had, like you can do that here.
Let's jump in.
I just think if there's going to be 2 games, there's still going to be someone from that one game that will still put up a score that you'll need.
Most likely.
Most likely. Absolutely. That's by far most likely outcome. Let's talk about some of these like deeper 5th and 6th round targets, some guys off the board, that sort of thing. Are you guys gravitating to anything? Like, do we think Silas brought up the Kumaro versus Khalil one, and that was Khalil was healthy scratch last week, and Kumaro played over him and played I think 25% of snaps. He played 24% of snaps last week. Does that give you any confidence to be like, yeah, I'm going to play him over the other guy? Or does it matter? Are you mixing in any of them? Like in this back area, let's not talk. Knox goes every draft. Mackenzie goes every draft. Osborne and Burks are kind of like most drafts, but most likely go every draft. Same with Gainwell and Madison. It's kind of like one or the other. But this kind of tier of Phillips, Moss, Irvin Hooper go, Crowder. Like, is there anyone we're gravitating in this area that you want to get exploitative exposure to?
Nim, you've got a couple more drafts than me. I'll let you start.
No. Exploitative exposure? No. Will I probably work them in? Yes.
Okay, so who's one of your favorite targets to work in here? Like, would you work in Swain over Hooper at all?
I've done a couple Swain just in case. But actually, I think I've only done one. Yeah, one.
Sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, I would say it wouldn't hurt to work in possibly Quez Watkins.
Yeah,
I don't know his off the top of my head. His like target and usage. So I don't know how often they're running 3 wide receiver sets. He's obviously probably the 4th or 5th option, no matter if he's on the field, because there's the 2 wideouts, Brown, Smith, Goddard, and then a running back, is probably going to out target him.
I'll find it. Yeah.
So like,
Quez played, I think 53% of snaps last week.
It's definitely, definitely like, and then it's the same thing. It's like Shakir, like these are the guys. It all, and those are the Gabe dependent for sure. But I think you should do your route, which is basically if you can get the Gabe, and then if he's out, then you get them. But definitely, I don't know if you should be just purposely drafting these guys before Gabe is out. I think you should definitely try and do the route you're doing, which is basically, you're going to get a free swap. No one in that draft is going to have him. You're going to be the guy to get that swap. So if you're going to get your Kumaro or Shakir exposure, it's going to be basically through, you're either going to get Gabe, hopefully playing in a 5th or 6th round, which is amazing. If he's, if he's out there, not just being a decoy, or you're going to get the guys that you want swapped still at the same price. You're not sacrificing and trying to work them in, which I guess if you get them in the 6th, it doesn't hurt, but I wouldn't draft them over Gabe or anything like that. So, but maybe work them in the 6th like that, but it's still iffy with some of the other targets probably or options there. So,
I have have all last year's personnel grouping stats. I don't have this year's in front of me.
An interesting wrinkle, and I don't know, as interesting as you want to make this wrinkle, and maybe I'm just reading the cannabis leaves here a little too much, but Josh Gordon signed off the practice squad.
Yeah, I was
onto the active roster.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who's the odd man out when because of this. So let's see what Silas says here. So we saw Kumaro rotate in last week. Depends on the trust. He's
reiterating that.
Will get you there. Yeah, I mean, like with Kumaro, the capital that Kumaro requires is nothing. So
right.
There's you just need that one, like just picturing from his Green Bay days with Rodgers. You just get one long pass to Kumaro and like, oh, guy you need this week. So
yeah.
If Shakir is active, I think I would probably lean Shakir personally. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's interesting because unless I built Gabe Davis into those stacks, and there's no way we have to global swap, right? There's no way that we can swap like for isolated lineups. I think I'd target Quez Watkins, like just as my like one-off swap with no correlation, and just hope he breaks the slate as like we've seen it before. He's a higher usage guy, and target that game environment versus the other one. I don't know. That's just my like thought process right now, but I haven't really worked out. I'm just praying that Gabe plays, One other guy I want to point out is Johnny Mont. Like
literally just gonna, when
who?
Done, yeah.
He played over Irv last week. He's more blocking, right? He's more inline guy than Irv is.
Yes.
And he had 3 targets last week. I don't know. It's just something to be mindful of at tight end when we're just looking for the variance. I've mixed in a Sweeney as well. Just okay. Like
I need to look up these.
Johnny Munt is specifically comes from LA with O'Connell, and O'Connell has been hyping him up.
Yeah.
Just like they view they view him as a vertical threat in the offense apparently, and they view him as a big piece of this offense.
Where are you getting these quotes from?
That's way better than I thought.
This one is literally from our Vikings team page, and then I listen to like our radio like all the time, and the day after our radio guy goes like, and Johnny Munt, you really like him, and he just went on like a 2-3 minute tangent about just Johnny Munt. He's like, don't worry, like we love Irv, like Irv is he's gonna get our way back, but he also basically said like something about Irv, like this is like Irv will be there when he's there, kind of thing. Like we're not gonna force it to Irv. It's like
I just love this boots on the ground. This boots on the ground reporting from you.
That's like this is what we need. This is what we need.
This is why you listen to Badge Bros, because we got Noomi, who is damn near going to get his beat reporter credentials.
He said on Monday, Irv is going to have a major role for us, and he will continue to show up throughout the season. But right now, but it's a week-to-week operation, and we love what we see from Johnny.
Ooh, that bodes well for my boy. Johnny. Met him today. That's my boy.
Munt is of the two top considered, Munt is considered the better blocker and receiver. But if Munt continues to show his catching skills, there might have, and it just that's the article.
My projections based on just like usage and whatever, and whether it's sticky or not, who knows? Whatever, I have them like 2.1 points apart or something stupid. So I was just kind of like, okay, let's just mix.
Yeah.
So why not? So I've been mixing.
he was quoted saying, "I was about to hurdle that guy, but I did, or I thought I was going to hurdle that guy, but there's always next week." This man's out here with a mission. He's taking.
Munt has that in his bag. He's going to hit the Y button on someone.
What if Johnny Munt is the person?
Okay,
well,
let's we're on the
Johnny Munt for me today.
We're on the clock here. Numi brought up a good idea that we each build one and then we post them and see who likes what kind of thing. Yeah. So I know that Numi wants to build a Jeff one. So I'm gonna build a Hurts one here.
Yeah, let us spectate you on this round.
Yeah, so I'll build a Hurts one here just so we can get some differentiation between the 3 lineups that we build.
I love it. I love it.
Newbie, pull up a lobby. Don't join yet, but pull up a lobby and then just be ready to go next. And then Nez, you can jump after.
Yeah. You've got a beautiful screen share going here. I don't know that I'm going to be able to share mine with like just the Underdog screen how you have. You might see like my bookmarks and my tabs, but I promise
you can
one
do it
day.
as a
you can share
tab.
As
a share tab.
Gotcha. I'm doing that because I've been trying to get this forever. This is fantastic. And
we've backdoor fell our way into a nice little AJ Brown stack here, so not a big deal.
So this guy is. I wonder what he's going to do because these are some interesting options here for this Josh Allen start, and I wonder if he's going to like try to grab Dallas Goedert from you, and if he doesn't, I wonder if you're going to go Dallas Goedert here if he comes back.
I think I'll either go Thielen bring back or I'll go Goedert here with like just like the triple. But the problem with taking Goedert, in my opinion, is some of the running back targets that I like at the end are Philadelphia guys, right? Like between Scott and Gainwell. Yeah. So I don't mind having like a 2 Philadelphia start and then, maybe mixing that in after. I don't feel great about mixing in Devontae as a triple. And he didn't give us
I will say those are the battles I have with myself immediately when I tell myself I don't want to do this. I stop and say, if I'm saying this, most people are probably saying this.
Right.
Maybe this is just a way one off there, and then you continue to build what you have. You know what I mean? Kind of
100% agree with that. Yeah.
If the Hurts triple stack gets home, like the internet's going to go nuts. Like people are just they're going to be
triple
crowning.
stack gets home. I'm not coming on the show tomorrow.
Here, this is my favorite build, my favorite start right here, and now you can get different. It's my favorite start because
Kirk Cousins.
If you go quarterback to start, right? That number 3 position is in a great advantageous spot to box out that 4 guy, and he's rarely going to go Cousins because you go Jeff first. So he's probably not going to go naked cousin, and he's going to take the 2 running backs, or he's going to take one of the running backs and a pass catcher, and then you get it to come back. You let the other picks subside, and then you get Cousins, who, in my opinion, is kind of like 4 or 5 points better. I mean, fuck mean projections. Who gives a shit? But he's 4 or 5 points better in my mind than Tannehill, and then you end up with that. Okay, so then now with this construction, like we're heavily targeting this game environment in the Minnesota Philly. So if I want a one-off on the other side, I want it to be a tight end or a running back, and Singletary for my value is their number 1 running back at this point in time. So if someone's going to get rushing touchdowns, I mean, it's going to be him or Moss, I think, but I'm going to target Singletary in this build.
I love Singletary. Just as a football player and watching him play, he's awesome. Just a little guy in there just banging.
Dude,
he plays fun.
No juice, like none. Looked like he was just feet were on the ground, and then Singletary every time he touched the ball, just a little burst every time. I'm like,
shot out of a cannon.
Just give this man the ball. Maybe James Cook don't fumble on your first carry, and then you guys, but
right, yeah, we'll see if they go back to the well on him. So that Josh Allen team, for his first wideout goes Gabe Davis, which is probably Gabe is probably not going to make it back to you for the very last pick of the draft. So that
I was about to say he has to take him there. Yeah. Like in my opinion, he has to, and then he mixes in like a little run back with Woods. Like I think this was a very sharp approach to the team. I don't love same team running back tight end, like just as like a correlation play. Like I don't love it, but in these contests you have to do it like sometime.
Yeah. Not a lot of time. Yeah.
Give me some Treylon ceiling here.
I'm Treylon over Woods, and maybe that's a flaw, but I really like Treylon as the big play guy getting that play tonight. I mean, Woods can get but like, who's going to outrun or get the big play? Treylon, not Robert Woods. So,
the only thing scary about Treylon is he only played 37% of snaps last week. Yeah. He was heavily targeted on those snaps, but he only played 37. He played behind Westbrook-Ikhine and Phillips.
Phillips is questionable, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Phillips is out. Okay, so my take on Phillips
he was limited this weekend.
And Gabe does not look good, apparently.
He's limited this weekend, and then I am going to do Hooper this time. Kind of chalky looking build, and not amazing to have 2 Titans pass catchers without the quarterback, but I like it.
Nothing wrong with taking the best plays. Nothing wrong with taking the best plays.
What I will say about Phillips is I don't think he plays tonight, and the signal for that was the Josh Gordon called up from the practice squad. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they go Gordon up from the practice squad and then he's been limited in practice and then has the Q tag, it just sounds to me that like, okay, that was the move that gave us that. But
I agree.
Right or wrong, who knows, right? Paul pointing out that we finally got a Badge Bro lobby loaded with badges that last time. I wish you good luck here, Numi, and not rolling a badge filled room.
Is this Numi sharing now?
Yeah, yep. Numi's up.
Gotcha.
Do I need to zoom in?
No.
Maybe maybe one more. There you go. Beautiful.
Oh, big and juicy. What's up, my friend?
You know him? Or them?
Nope. These are, not a bad.
Those are, you get some great names.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me wish I would have a little more creative than just Nez.
Yeah, so I've seen this a couple times too here, where basically just like the non-2 alpha tight ends in quotations relative to the slate are getting selected, after these targets, and people are just trying to target that red zone, find the touchdown, because whoever finds the tight end touchdown tonight most likely is in the optimal, right?
Yeah, I will say the red zone target for the Vikings will not be Johnny Munn. It'll be Adam Thielen. Be Adam Thielen. That'll probably be their number one, and then JJ. Like they will probably do. I really, man. It could be either way. The whole JJ thing, it's tough because like if you fade him, which I've been thinking maybe you don't go him, because I really think that the Eagles could just do anything in their power to just basically just bracket him, just have a guy there, have anyone on his side. I've just been thinking they're going to do it, and then we're just going to basically take that, and we're not going to be Mike Zimmer's offense, and we're just going to allow it to just go through wherever, or it's just going to be
there goes your boy.
So.
Yeah.
After these picks, I got a question for you, Numi, about this Minnesota Eagles game. You really got my gears churning.
Gosh. Okay.
He's thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going Dalvin and Diggs. All right. I like it. I mean, this is where where these drafts get fun because of the quarterback factor, is these 104s get really interesting, and taking Henry there and then knowing that you're most likely going to end up with Tannehill isn't amazing.
Yeah.
So then targeting that game environment after Jeff is gone and assuming that he'll take Cousins on the way back, you get one layer deeper and you go, okay, cool. I'll target that game still, but with Cook. And now that's our only piece of Minnesota in this build. And then we got Diggs to get that.
I will say I've done it in my 2 Cook builds. They have the person right here, basically, or they've bypassed Kirk, and they're like, oh, he won't take Kirk because he has that. And I'm like, okay, I'll take Kirk with Cook. Like, you're telling me that can't happen? And then they're just balked, and they're like, wait, why would you do that? I just feel they're sitting and they're like, what are you doing? Unstacked or with them? Like, Cook can easily get there with Cousins. So
definitely.
I like that. I like that as if it's probably not going to come back to me. He'll probably take it now that I'm all hyping it up. But yeah.
So after you make these picks, I'm curious, like, if you think, if the Minnesota defense can surprise people, like how you think, like what you anticipate their plan of attack being and how they kind of put the clamps on. Like, is it a shutdown of AJ Brown and make someone else beat you? Or is it like, is good run defense, good pass defense? I'm curious how you feel like what their strengths are after you make these picks, of course.
Yeah, I like that a lot too.
So I'm good with him. I don't need him now. I was so like, I got my first draft. I was like, oh, Tannehill. I'm like, wait, this is the 4th. Everyone has a QB.
Yeah.
See, I don't want to go Gabe here. I think the move is to bet on Cook getting out early and then they're passing. That's kind of like my thought for this lineup.
I like it.
For what I've been thinking and how I've just been the one way you can make Jalen Hurts look terrible is previously, not just last week, not because I'm taking out, but previously you can just make them throw the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I really think you're not going to see the getting after the quarterback. Mm-hmm. You're going to see 6 foot, or I think he's 6'4", 6'5", Danielle Hunter.
Okay.
Basically, instead of going, you're going to see these guys, instead of going to the quarterback, they're all of a sudden just going to stay back and they're just going to be out there down their corner.
Just
and you're
like
going to
play
say,
contain.
Beat us by passing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also not playing. We don't have our cornerbacks in terrible spots. So like our secondary is immediately just a little bit better because of just our scheme. So I think if we just do that, and then along with just hopefully maybe getting a sack or two naturally without sending blitz, I think it's work. I really think we're not going to send that much for blitz.
Gotcha.
So what I like to do here is just take them, and then I can just kind of see what my team looks like. I mean, it's going to have to be Woods.
Yeah.
It can be, but I don't think it necessarily has to be.
It could be Nick Westbrook,
sneaky, like rushing,
to be
touchdowns.
honest with you. But I don't know if I need to do that. We're gonna do Woods because I don't.
Yeah, I mean, Westbrook Akina is a good way to get it unduped. Woods is a good way to build a stronger lineup. So
yeah, I think this might be a little more popular though. Maybe I definitely
much more popular.
It's
way more popular.
That's why it was gonna be Akina, but I don't care.
But what makes this lineup what makes this lineup better in my opinion is the fact that Smith and Goddard fell to you because they fell further than ADP. So though that lineup is somewhat more difficult to build than we're giving it credit right now, even though it looks quote unquote chalky.
Yeah, I'm with you. So Paul brings up a good point too, which is what I was thinking about. With
what do you think?
With Hilliard out, does Haskins mix in, or is it Joey Julius Chestnut's time? Interesting guy, only 21 years old, I think. Like he was kind of the presumed RB2, and then Hilliard came in. I'm really
they hyped Chestnut in the preseason.
They did. Yeah. And he, I think, is different than Haskins because Haskins to me seems like a little Henry. He kind of comes off like little Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
Haskins feels like full on handcuff in the most basic form in a standard scoring league, home league. You know what I mean?
Right. And so I would probably lean, like, if you really want to get crazy, like make your last pick Julius Chestnut, and maybe he's now the new Hilliard, and this team's playing from behind, and so that's kind of how I would probably approach.
That's a very fun way to get different. If you punt, this is a really cool idea from a build construction standpoint that Inverted brings up. We could build a team that's pass catch heavy with no running back. So we go, basically it would look elite tight end, which we would say is Goddard here, and then 3 pass catchers, and then know that Tannehill is always going to be the last quarterback off the board. And we stack quarterback running back, and we're instantly unique in the last there. And you just hope that, Chestnut's the guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
not crazy. Not crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it kind of makes sense if they're going to mimic that usage, or if they think no one can match Hilliard, then I guess it's just Derrick Henry smash. Wait, what's up, buddy? What do you got to say? Get him on the mic.
You know what time it is.
Get him on the mic.
It is.
Is it Julius Chestnut time?
The man loves Chestnut.
All right, you want to flip to my
yeah, I got you.
All right, baby, here we go. I got the tab up. I love it. This looks clean.
Dude, this Chestnut guy went from 0-star high school, he was 0 stars, college, one college offer, no NFL invite to the combine, undrafted free agent, and then he made the 53-man roster. What if he just Monday Night Football?
That's sick.
Tomorrow, it's all sick. Julius Chestnut.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Number one waiver.
Yo, this is super sweet that you rolled the 101. Hey, Tucker, chill.
Yeah. About it.
This is nice that you rolled. This is nice that you rolled the 101 here, because now we can get 3 distinctly different builds. Right. Because we each got different spots here, and we can kind of see what we like between the 3 and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so if you notice as well, I've got like custom ranks set, and they are kind of preempting a swap, while also like mimicking what I maybe am thinking in drafts. And I haven't checked this since this morning whenever I realized that I'm going to have to swap some Gabe Davis. So let's see like who so right now I've got like Crowder up here, and Osborne, but Crowder, I'm really into him as a swap option, but we'll see how that changes.
Just a grown ass professional wide receiver.
Yeah, dude. He just does it. He just continues to do it, and I could see him.
Randall
I was hoping
Cobb,
he would be
Jarvis Landry, those types.
Yeah, I was hoping he would be the sorry, I got distracted. The slot guy, like the new Cole Beasley, but it's Mackenzie right now, and we'll see how that holds up. But
Leonard Fournette, I don't know if you saw his tweet today.
Yeah, I did. John, I saw it because John quote tweeted it.
I quote tweeted it. I quote tweeted it with my exposure. Like, listen here, motherfucker. Sir, that does not 27% yesterday.
Wow, this is a strange little start here.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk through this draft board. Okay, well, this is kind of what we're talking about. And then this guy makes, this guy makes the biggest possible mistake you could ever make. This is the worst possible mistake you could make in these contests, is taking Kirk there when you have a free pick and you can still get Kirk on the way back. It's the biggest possible mistake you can make in these contests.
Clyde, if you're watching, just free advice.
Yeah.
Free advice for Clyde there. You should not do that. You should be aware that you're going to get him on the way back, and now you're losing out on Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown.
Kirk is more important. Come on now.
You're right.
What if Stephon Diggs and A.J. Brown aren't the guys you need?
So I'm going to run it back here. I'm going to run it back. Actually, see, now here's a question, right? It's like, how do you run it back? Do I go Onslaught or do I go Thielen? I'm going to go Thielen here.
Let's go KJ.
I can't hear you.
KJ. I think it's going to be a KJ day.
No.
I think Thielen's going to get those red zone targets, but I think we're going to be like, that's not 18, that's 17 over and over again tonight.
Yeah, he had some fun games last year, but I'm not sure, man. Now that you guys have a smart coach, I think it's not necessarily.
I think it would be. Ideal. I think it's more optimal for him to get the ball now that the coach is like, okay, we're not gonna run it up the middle every play. 2, if we're not running up the middle, force it to JJ. We're gonna like have a play on first down for KJ. You know what I mean? Type thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. He'll definitely get his usage. I mean, there's no way that he's bad. I don't think. I mean, I know he wasn't a very like highly touted prospect or anything like that.
He can play. He can play.
I'm with you.
He's a number 3 wideout. That's for sure.
All right. I hope this guy doesn't take. If Miles Sanders is there, I'm gonna have to take Miles Sanders. I think.
How was the dog park?
Yeah, right.
Just go back now.
Yeah, go give him a quick run, man. Who knows? But it's funny because we started this stream like 30 minutes later than we normally do.
Exactly.
And he's going. He's like, yeah, it's dog park time.
Kyle Phillips goes. Okay. So
wow.
I feel, I got to take Miles Sanders here. I think
he's a huge tier above the other targets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is kind of nice. I'm really enjoying this luck box 101 that I'm getting here. So I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait on tight end. Nothing here for running back for me. I love Crowder. I love Woods. I think I might need to stack Josh Allen, and
could be unique. Maybe not stacking him and thinking that Allen gets there just running it, and then it's the rushing touchdowns from the other guy or something.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that. That
was a perfect play right there, though.
Yeah,
but I mean,
there.
He's gonna. It has to be Gabe. Like, if he's active, that's huge leverage. Like, he was going second round before we kind of knew that this was happening.
I'm trying to monitor him, like see if I get anything. I know it's not going to come out like now, but I'm just trying to see if there's anything.
But I'm glad I did that because that's the bane of custom ranks is that you kind of miss out on.
I was wondering. I was like, why is he down there? I am so confused.
Yeah. I had these are like set up for swaps. I wasn't planning on doing a ton more of these, but so now I got to take a tight end here next, and Is it Muncie? Is it Johnny Munt season? Like,
Gabe Davis on the doubtful side of questionable.
Shit. Well, we'll see about that.
The Syracuse.com.
Sounds more doubtful, has a chance to play. He kind of feels like he's got that dog in him when he just might just go out there anyway.
Yeah, he could just say, F all you.
I
got that dog in me.
Honestly, if he plays,
the bit.
If he plays 40% of snaps, I'd rather have him in the 5th with Allen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, of course.
Right?
Of course.
For sure. Yeah.
Over anybody else there.
Unless it's 40% of snaps and he legitimately looks like he can't even play. Then it's like,
I went Austin Hooper there.
I think Hooper's scenario would be he plays, but is just literally a decoy. Mm-hmm. And I know he's not a decoy because he's not Stephon Diggs or a top, right? So he's not going out there just to go out there and draw the defense, but that would just be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be very bad.
And then or gets hurt or anything and then nothing. I mean,
Yeah, so I ended up going with Austin Hooper there.
Love it.
Natural bring back too. Natural bring back when you don't have any other bring back in that game too. So it's like for that build, like you could have gone Sweeney with go Onslaught, and then you guarantee yourself a piece of correlation, but at the expense of taking him over Hooper, it's probably bad. True. But this will be way more chalky.
Yep. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I love this team way more than my previous Josh Allen team.
Yeah, so you got Josh Allen, you got Sanders, you got AJ Brown. Sanders falling all the way in the 4th was beautiful for you. So AJ Brown and
that
Thielen,
doesn't happen.
Yeah, so you get a little mini game stack at the 2-3 turn. Then Sanders falls all the way, and you still end up with probably the 3rd best running back play on the slate, the only 3rd tier alpha. I don't know. I mean, maybe you could make a case for Singletary over him, but it's really close. And in this build, you'd rather have the running back from the other game than the running back on your own team, theoretically. I mean,
that's what I'm going for. Unless unless I'm just making the conscious decision, I guess, of all right, well, this is a unique lineup, I guess. But I don't think I've gotten too cute here. I think the craziest I've gone is I did take a James Cook team with this Kirk Cousins team here. If you see, I went with the weird Cousins double stack with the Brown bring back and then a weird Bills onslaught. So this is as weird as I've gotten.
Do these games overlap?
Yeah, they do.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. What are we doing? NFL.
I think it's for the East Coast market. I think it's so that.
Why can't we just have one of them end and then the next one start?
I love the doubleheader like that. Yeah.
I love the doubleheader, but why do we have to overlap them?
I don't even know what stations they're airing on.
They're on ESPN and ABC, which is the same thing. So it's on at 7:15 on ESPN, 8:30 on they're starting literally an hour, so that's going to be super overlapped. I don't like that. But whatever. Can't do anything about it.
All right, let's you guys want to do one more or wrap it up there and then just have the 3 and then we can post the teams and see if we can get a poll going.
Do we have time for one more? Just get really weird with one?
Yeah, sure. I'm down.
You can do it on mine if you want, or yours, whatever works.
Yeah, sure. Let me do it on mine because it's the easiest. Oh, I was just going to say one more thing. Okay, that
do you want me to bring that back up or something?
No, it was all good. I just wanted to run through the 3 rosters that we had created right there. Just cap it off real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Tie a bow on it.
I got you.
Just read it. What's yours?
Yeah. So Nez came away with, Josh Allen at quarterback, Miles Sanders at running back, 3 wideouts with AJ Brown, Adam Thielen, and the Gabe Davis stack, God willing that he plays, and then the Austin Hooper bring back at tight end. And I will swap for Crowder if Davis does not play.
Cool. Numi, what'd you end up with?
I got a Ryan Tannehill with Dalvin Cook, and then I got Stephon Diggs, Devonta Smith, Robert Woods as the stack with Tannehill, and then Diggs as a bring back, and then I have Goddard as well. So the Tannehill, the Woods with the Diggs bring back, and then Smith, Goddard, and Cook for the mid.
It's funny how we didn't talk up. We were kind of whatever. If you get the elite tight end in quotations in the 3rd round, whatever, and then we all ended up with them.
Goddard.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. That was my first share of Goddard.
Oh, never mind. I lied. I didn't. Okay. I ended up with Hurts, Singletary, AJ Brown, Thielen as the bring back. We got Burks, and then we got Hooper. So a little double on the.
Really like that construction.
Titans.
I like the construction of everybody's teams.
Yeah, I think we did all right there, gentlemen. We did all right.
And let's do one last one here. I did not see that this worked now. Quick plug, I guess, for anyone that just wants to have an awesome overlay or tool. I didn't know that they had this working. So you now get more your players, your combo stacks, team stacks, QB stacks
for the daily lobbies
for the dailies. Yeah, now
I got to turn that on. I usually turn that off for dailies because it makes it really laggy before they
implemented it. It was very bad. It literally I couldn't draft MLBs. Whenever I'd click on a guy, it would go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's nice. I'm gonna have to try that. That's huge. That's like especially for NFL, that's gonna be incredibly handy on these big slates.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Be a must.
All right. So now we got the 102. Drafting. This is perfect. Hopefully we don't have an Eagles stand here at 101.
Yeah, this would have been nice last week.
Well, let's see. What haven't we built yet? We haven't built a JJ team. Right? You built an Allen.
That's true. Yeah. If you want to just punt. Allen, yeah. If you want to punt.
Who's JJ?
Yeah. Never heard of him.
No. Who is he? Is he good?
We'll see. We'll see if we take him.
Stephon Diggs is still on the team, right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Buddy.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully he goes Josh Allen here just so we can get a different build and build a Jefferson team. And hopefully we get what we were talking about earlier, where we try and do from the 102 what I would love to do from the 103, where it's Jeff, then the next guy takes Hurts, then the end takes the running backs, and then we can build a slightly worse but more unique combination. The 103 is optimal for this, right? Because if Hurts goes here, we get our pick of a quote-unquote more higher-priced target.
Right.
But yeah, if he goes there, now we've guaranteed ourselves a mini stack with Cousins if we want it. We can get cute and let it pass.
Okay, cool.
I instantly gravitate towards this no-brain
no-brainer
stack. Yeah. And then whatever happens here, depending what gets left, because it's kind of interesting. This is where the talking points get fun. Because we can pass on Cousins, even though it probably isn't optimal. But if we pass on Cousins here and hope the other guy doesn't want to build Cousins plus Cook, if he had taken Derrick Henry instead, I think it changes our mindset. But if we make the assumption that this player is quote unquote sharp enough now to not take that or want to take that, anyways, it becomes levels of game theory. I think.
So who's your 1v1 there if you weren't going to take Cousins?
I think it's Cousins versus Goddard right here, or we can go the high end of Singletary. Let's try it because
I like Singletary.
Because the nice thing about taking Singletary here too is if you end up with Tannehill, you have natural correlation in that game.
100%. Yeah, it's like insurance,
Yeah.
And what if Tanny runs a couple in?
Right, 100%. Yeah.
So,
we've seen that so many times at the goal
the
line
last 2 years. I think he has 7 touchdowns each. Right, it's like the most flukiest thing, but maybe there's something to it. Probably part of that is last year with Henry being out, but he played for quite a bit. So,
and now this gets really interesting here because if he passes on Cousins, our plan, quote unquote, worked, right? Like it worked because now we're going to end up with what we would consider more of a super team from this draft slot just by getting aggressive with it. Right. And now we get another free pick because we don't have to take Cousins here because the other guy has a quarterback. So we get a free pick where we end up with Cousins in the 5th, and Cousins versus Hurts isn't 4 rounds apart in projection, but we created a situation where we built this team for ourselves, right?
Yep.
Now for me, I think it's here and we create that, or we go elite here.
This is a tough call because you can like maybe wait and try to get Irv Smith if you take Cousins.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, let's do Woods.
Woods. I think it gets really muddy. Even with the tight ends after Goddard, if you want to call him your top tier, I think you could make a case for any one of them being in your next rank. How anyone could rank them, whoever, and I'd be like, yep, that's fine. So I don't think Goddard is for sure take them there. I do like the Woods play. I like that because then you're going to get
it creates two natural game stacks, and then we can double stack with Cousins, even if Irv Smith happened to go. Like, I think we want Irv Smith, but even if Irv Smith happens to go, we can create a double stack environment where we take Johnny, right? Like our new boy, Johnny Munt. So I don't know. It's fun because like, I think people are so quick to just, snap at what's at the top of the queue, or, I got to take Cousins here. Like, we created a very interesting path for ourselves to get both unique and value in the same draft here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's Clyde. If you ever see this, that's why you don't take Kirk Cousins in the second round.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a perfect reason for it. Yeah.
Because now our team, in theory, has a way higher projection and just better team. Although that team, he built. What if we see Clyde at the top today?
What if? I hope so.
We're just sitting there like.
Yeah. No, DFS Texas, good sharp
Texas
player. He's constantly in here, and he just recognizes right away that like that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah. Normally does not. So thankfully that guy was like so anti Kirk and Cook. Good equity for us. And now if we can get the Irv Smith with that as well, that would be super sick. But we'll see what he ends up doing. Damn.
He takes Irv there for us. So now I don't really want to have two Titans pass catchers here, so I'd rather get weird and just try and find a touchdown here.
Yeah.
I think Hooper will always project better, but I think given this construction and the fact that we've made our bet on that Buffalo Tennessee game, like we've made it in Woods, right? We're going, hey, 2 touchdowns on the ground from Singletary, and we're going 1 through the air as the bring back here. We've made our bet in that game, right? So let's just go with the double and hope he gets home. We might only need, if no tight end scores, we might only need 4 points, right? For him to be optimal tight end, right?
Yeah, it's not improbable that tight end is just gross, and the play was to just punt the hell out of it.
Right, 100%.
Punt with Munt, baby. Punt with Munt.
Yeah, punt with Munt. It sells itself. Print the fucking t-shirts. Let's go. Are you kidding me? I'm getting those t-shirts printed if we win with that lineup tonight. If I win that, oh my God, yeah.
Punt with Munt. I love it.
One thing I want to say with that though is we saw Gabe Davis fall to the last pick there.
Wow.
And that starting with Allen right now, and then just being open to the possibility of him falling to the very last pick of the draft and then just late swapping him if he doesn't go, like that's a cheat code right now. Yeah. So keep it in the back of your mind with all your 101 builds that like, even if Gabe Davis has a big doubtful D beside his name in half an hour, you still take him with that last pick.
Well, doubtful is different.
No, because you can still swap. As long as there's not an out. Yeah, doubtful swaps, O doesn't swap. It'll tell you if it doesn't swap.
Okay,
but point being, if people get so pushed off of it that like he's just sitting there, it's mandatory to take him, even if we don't think he's going to play, because he's just going to get swapped.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah. Very last pick, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. All right, everyone's favorite part of the show. Anything to add? Numi, Nez, anything you need?
No, I'm excited for these punt with Munt shirts, man. That's brilliant.
Yo, go Vikes, eh? Numi, go Vikes, baby.
Let's go.
Oh, I love it.
You don't need to tell me, baby. Let's go.
Run them graphics, baby.
All right, everybody's favorite, the end. Roll the damn clips.